Welcome to the Woman Angler and Adventurer Podcast, inspiring real women with a passion for fishing and the outdoors to go get their adventure on. Now, here's your host, Master Captain Angie Scott.
Welcome to this special podcast episode in honor of National Safe Boating Week, which kicks off May 18th and runs through the 24th. This week-long event reminds everyone to practice safe boating before the Memorial Day weekend and the start of the summer boating season. Today we're going to talk about the importance of boating safety, my top 5 safe boating tips, and more. So if you have a friend or family member who is new to boating, I highly encourage you to take a moment and share this episode with them. They might find something useful. So before I bought my first boat, I took a boating safety course offered through the Music City Power Squadron, which is now called America's Boating Club Music City here in Nashville. You can find similar courses in your area through the United States Coast Guard Auxiliary, as well as your state's local fish and wildlife agency. I highly recommend going through one of these courses for any new boater, even if you're a more experienced boater and haven't done one of those safety courses. It might be a good idea to go ahead and take one, because you'll probably pick up some things that maybe you hadn't thought about before. And if you want to take it even a step further, Freedom Boat Club now offers something called Boat Class. It's in limited areas right now, but you can go to their website and check it out and see if they offer these in your area. It's open to the public, and it gives you a 3-hour on-the-water course that can be tailored toward beginners, those just needing a refresher, or even for advanced boaters. And these 3-hour sessions are taught by United States Coast Guard licensed captains. So again, if you want to check it out, if there's a boat class available near you, go to freedomboatclub.com/boat-class, and I'll put a link to that in the show notes for this episode. So after I took my boating safety course and just really got into boating and rekindled my love for fishing and all of that, I actually decided to go ahead and get my captain's license, which I did online through Mariner's Learning System. And I did some recreational charters here on my home lake, but it wasn't long after that when I came upon Freedom Boat Club, and they actually hired me on to do their one-on-one new member training. So I developed the classroom portion into an online class, and then I would meet them after they completed that for a 2-hour hands-on on-the-water session. And it's one of the reasons why I jumped into tournament fishing as a boater, even though I'm relatively new to the bass scene and still learning and have lots to learn. But boating safety is so important to me, and I just felt like I would rather be the one in control of the boat just for my own safety reasons. But I've also been on the CETO Foundation's National Safe Boating Council for a number of years as well. So needless to say, boating safety is always at the forefront of my mind, and why I felt like it's important to highlight this week as we prepare for National Safe Boating Week. So boating can be a super fun and enjoyable and relaxing activity, but it's important to remember that it does come with risks. According to the Coast Guard, there were over 4,000 boating accidents in 2020, resulting in over 600 deaths, and many of these accidents could have been prevented by following a few basic boating safety rules. So I thought it'd be fun for me to share my 5 biggest boating safety tips that I've picked up over the years. Number 1, first and foremost, is always wear a life jacket. You want to ensure that everyone on your boat wears a properly fitted life jacket as well. They should be snug, but not overly tight. And make sure all the straps and buckles and zippers are fastened and secure. You want to look for life jackets that are Coast Guard approved, and that's going to ensure that they meet the safety standards and are suitable for use on the water. You also just want to make sure that they're in good serviceable condition. You don't want to see any rips or holes. And if you go with one of those auto inflatable options like I wear when I'm out there fishing tournaments, you want to check and make sure that the CO2 cartridge isn't expired. And also always have a backup rearming kit just in case. Um, so if you've got people with you, again, just make sure there's enough life jackets for everyone on board, adults, children, even pets. And it's not just about having them on the boat, but make sure that they're actually available in case of an emergency. So make sure you're not storing your life jackets in a compartment with a whole bunch of stuff piled on top of it. You're not going to have a lot of time in an emergency situation if you don't already have your life jacket on and you need to get into a compartment and pull them out. So you want to make sure that they're super easily accessible, that all your passengers know where they're at, and especially emphasize the importance of wearing life jackets for children. I think most, if not all, states have a law. I know in Tennessee it's 12 and under have to have a life jacket on at all times. And make sure you can make it a fun activity. Take the kids shopping with you and let them pick out their life jacket. Again, making sure that it fits them properly. And education is key to really ensuring that everyone understands the importance of life jacket safety and that they're prepared should an emergency situation arise. Are you ready to take your bass fishing game to the next level? Look no further than iBass 360. Introducing the all-new digital iBass 360 magazine, the ultimate resource for fishing enthusiasts. Get exclusive access to in-depth articles, gear reviews, and expert advice from the pros. Plus, enjoy stunning photography and videos that will make you feel like you're right on the water. Don't miss out on the best bass fishing experience. Go to ibass360.com and subscribe to the magazine today to start reeling in the big ones. iBass 360, where every cast counts. Live the passion. So aside from life jackets, my next tip is just to ensure that your boat's properly equipped with all the other necessary boating safety equipment. So you want to have the proper number of fire extinguishers for your particular boat. Make sure those are easily accessible. Everyone knows where they're located. You may only have one on board depending on the size of your boat. Make sure that it's not expired as well. Flares or any kind of signaling devices, sound producing device like a horn or a whistle. And I also highly recommend having a well-stocked first aid kit on board. You never know when something's going to happen, something minor or maybe even something more severe that you need to do what you can before you can actually get to, emergency help. So then my third biggest boating safety tip relates to consuming alcohol in boating. As we all know, alcohol impairs judgment and reaction time, which are two critical elements for safe boating. Impaired judgment can lead to poor decision making, increasing the risk for accidents and collisions on the water. Alcohol is a contributing factor in many boating accidents, often leading to tragic consequences for both operator and passengers. And it's really unfortunate because it would be a really easy way to cut down on boating accidents if people would just refrain from drinking alcohol while you're out there boating and save it for when you get back to land. Because on a boat, wind, vibration, noise, and sun can impair balance, coordination, and concentration, and all of those are greatly intensified by the use of alcohol, drugs, or even some medications while you're out on the water. It's a leading contributing factor to fatal boating accidents every year. But if every boat were to have a sober skipper at the helm, these accidents and deaths would be 100% preventable. I mentioned earlier, I'm on the board, the National Safe Boating Council with the CETO Foundation. They have a sober skipper program. You can actually go to their website and take the pledge. And I would encourage all of you listening to go and just make that pledge. I'll put a link to that in the show notes for this episode as well. Fourth, always be sure and check the weather before you head out. There's a lot of great weather apps right there on our phones nowadays. A few of my favorite go-tos, I really like AccuWeather. I have the Storm app. I like their radar, and then also the Windy app. I always like to check and see what the wind gusts are going to be doing, if there might be a wind advisory to be aware of, what direction the wind's blowing. And I kind of check all these different apps and kind of compare them because I found that no one app is perfect. So if I can get information from a few different sources and kind of put together the day, I might have a better idea of what the weather's actually going to do. Of course, you always want to be looking at the skies with your own eyes as well. That's always a good tip. Technology is awesome, but if you see a storm coming in, then you've got a pretty good idea of what's going on. But always plan ahead, check your apps. And then from there, this leads to my fifth top boating tip is always share your float plan with someone that you trust and someone who's responsible. A float plan serves as a safety precaution by providing vital information about your boating trip to someone who can assist you if you should encounter any difficulties. So, in the event of an emergency, search and rescue teams can use a float plan to locate and assist you more quickly. It can be as simple as just sharing your intended route, your destination, and the expected time that you plan to return. And that way, someone knows where you are. And if you fail to return as planned, your designated contact can initiate the necessary actions to ensure your safety. You never know what can happen out there. Boating safety is everyone's responsibility, and we all need to work together to make sure that we're practicing safe boating and preventing accidents from happening. It only takes one mistake to cause a tragedy. Listeners of this podcast, as avid boaters and anglers and outdoors people, it's also our responsibility, I think, to educate people. So, if you see somebody out there doing something unsafe, it might be a good idea to step in and give them some tips. I remember not long ago, a few years ago out here on the lake that I'm on, somebody took off on a jet ski and they had the life jacket on the jet ski, but they weren't wearing it. It was just sitting on the jet ski, and something happened, and they unfortunately fell off and drowned. And if that person had just taken the time to actually put the life jacket on, buckle it properly, that would have been more than likely a 100% preventable tragedy. So, all right, well, everyone, this is a short one, but I felt like it was important to just take a pause and highlight National Safe Boating Week on this week's episode of the podcast. We've got some exciting stuff in the works for you for future episodes, so be sure and stay tuned. Hope you found this information helpful and informative, and if nothing else, just a good reminder and refresher as we gear up for summer. And again, share this episode with a friend. Let them know that you care about their safety out on the water as well. And remember, National Safe Boating Week is a reminder to practice safe boating all year round, not just this 1 week. So stay safe out there, everyone, and we'll see you next week.